But no, dude, honestly, like a whole conversation we had last week that I've been like really thinking about is how often you and I love the same song, and then when we show it to each other, we'll point out like, "Oh, did you hear that part?" And you're always telling me like, "Did you hear his bars?" And I'm always like, "No, dude, I didn't hear that." And then I'll be like, "Did you hear that crescendo of like feeling and emotions and instrumental?" And you're like, "Oh no, I didn't hear that." And it made me wonder like, we like the same songs, but I think we're hearing them very differently. And like, how do you listen to music when you're listening to it? Like, what's your goal for it? What are you hearing from it?
Definitely. Well, I think we should talk about the first story of where I think that really encapsulates everything of when we were driving from Castle Rock.
Okay, for Mona Lisa?
Yeah.
Okay, yeah.
Because I think that
was a
really
perfect
shows
example.
how we listen to music.
Right.
Was I put on Mona Lisa, and I'm like, hey, let me know what you think of this song. Because I feel like it's an underrated song. I don't feel like a lot of people know of the song.
Yeah, like hip-hop fans
No.
really love it. But
Wheezy fans will know.
will know it, but like for all-time Kendrick verses, like it's not talked about. For all-time
It's not.
Wheezy songs,
It's
not
not.
talked about. But like both of the goats, two goats,
Two
like on
goats
the
are
same
on
song,
it, and the song is
floating,
ridiculous.
and it's crazy.
Well,
like,
and so how I found the song was Lil Wayne's album dropped.
right?
And so I found the song, his album dropped. I honestly listened to it fucking through.
front to back.
Like, honestly, let me pull it up real quick.
Yeah.
Because this was the Carter 5.
Yes.
So this was the Carter 5, right?
Mm-hmm.
Carter V. So it came out with like Holy, Uproar, Let It Fly, Can't Be Broken, Dark Side of the Moon, What About Me, Open Letter, Famous,
Dude, such a
Problems,
tape, man. Such a
Took
tape.
His Time, Open Safe, Mess, Perfect Strangers, Used To. I think the Carter 5 is an underrated Carter album.
Dude, so underrated.
I think it's so underrated. And honestly, the Carter 5 is what took my middle school mentality of Lil Wayne of like, oh, like he had bangers back when I was 12. Like
Right.
Lollipop, like How to
6 foot,
Love,
7 foot,
6 foot, 8 foot,
right.
what? Like, right? From that's like, oh, he's still, like, he's a GOAT.
Yeah.
Like, he's still got this shit on lock. Like,
And he's,
you give this man some
it
fucking
feels
respect.
easy too. Like,
Yeah,
like
it
he's
flows.
floating over totally different beats. Like Uproar, that is such like Swiss Beats did his thing on that. And
Dumb.
it's such a hype
Dumb.
song. And it's such a hype song.
It's such a hype song.
And then this kind of like piano beat that's going over Mona Lisa. Again, he's just like floating over it. And
the story he's telling, his flow is so just phenomenal.
Right.
And the story he's telling is fucked.
And I didn't even hear the story.
It's a fucked story.
Until that drive from Castle Rock. Like I didn't. You were like, oh, did you hear how he said that? Like, isn't this story crazy? And I was like, dude, I don't hear. Like, I didn't hear any story. I listened to the song like a few times, enough for me to know that I love the production. I love, Kendrick's. I love Kendrick's manic voice. So anytime he goes, give me your phone. Like, I love when he just puts that emotion into it. So I felt all of that, but I was not like hearing the words and hearing the bars. Like, that's just not how I listen to it.
It's like those are the bars that first kind of got me.
Yeah.
And then I listened to the flow and I was like, wait, this song's kind of crazy.
This
like,
is nutty.
Like, I think he's talking about setting people up.
Yeah.
Like this song's crazy. And the way they both flow is insane. Like, I think that Kendrick verse is insane. I think it's one of a top tier underrated Kendrick verse. There's too many Kendrick verses to
There's
just.
so many. I mean, he's so good. Like,
he's so good.
That's what
and
being
like,
a legend is.
That's all compliments.
Right.
But I think it's a top tier underrated Kendrick verse.
And that was like a moment where we had the same song and we heard it differently. But then there's also a lot of times where like, dude, you listen to EDM like on a day-to-day basis, and I like never do it. And that was the other thing I was thinking of. Like, okay, well, that's a totally different genre. When you're listening to EDM, what connects with you to that maybe I'm missing?
Well, so EDM, I grew up being a very closeted EDM fan.
Okay.
Like Dylan Francis.
Yeah.
Right, like Martin Garrix, like Animals, like ba-da, like very traditional Dylan Francis, Martin Garrix, David Guetta.
Yeah.
Right, like the Calvin Harris,
Yeah.
mainstream EDM.
Right.
Kind of just literally the songs you would hear on the radio.
Mm-hmm.
It wasn't until, to be honest, my ex introduced me to EDM for the first time.
Interesting.
And also in that period of where I was at in my life, it was a lot of firsts for me. And so that brings me into, what you ask what draws me to EDM. It's also what draws me to music in general.
Mm-hmm.
A lot of times what draws me to music in general is how I'm feeling in that moment and how I want to feel and how I want to process something. Right? And EDM, during that period when I was first really being introduced to the depths of EDM,
Mm-hmm.
I was experiencing a lot of firsts. I was coming out in my sexuality. It was my first time with a man.
Yeah.
So I was beginning to feel all these for the first time. I was accepting these emotions that almost had been bottled up
Right.
for so long. So everything was so strong
Mm-hmm.
towards him, towards my sexuality, towards the world, towards my emotions. Everything was so strong.
Right.
And in these songs, you know, anyone that knows me, Good Things Fall Apart was my jam.
You love that song.
I love that song because when he cheated, it was like, did you say something wrong when I told you? Like that. Like I used to belt that song into the heavens.
Yeah.
It evokes a lot of emotion. Oh my god.
Oh, sorry.
No. Like,
Well, that's it. Like you have
It's-
these like strong emotional
Yeah, I'm trying
ties towards the music.
trying to like focus. You know what I mean? 'Cause, like, there's so many emotions.
Right.
I want to just go off and boom, 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 boom.
Well, and that's how, like, to me, that's how you listen to the music too. Like,
Yeah.
you follow your emotions into the music, you know. And for me, like, I always see music more as like this beautiful puzzle that's coming together.
Yeah.
You know, and that's where like I'll listen to the instrumentals. Then like, how does your voice come over on that? Like, oh, the beat changed. That was super cool. Like, everybody can appreciate when a rapper has those changes in the beat in the middle of a song, because then you hear those changes in flow.
Yeah.
And so it's like, oh, you're putting like, now you took pieces from a different puzzle and you came in like you
Yeah.
made it work in the same thing. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and because for me, I see the puzzle piece, and for me, I look at it as it puts everything together for
Mhm.
me, and it allows me to feel. Because I look at my head as like a beautiful, dark, twisted fantasy, right? And I am hypersensitive. I am a more emotional person. I feel very strongly
Right.
if it's towards anything, and EDM is a way for me to encapsulate the crazy that's in my mind.
Interesting.
Because, you know, I operate very fast. I talk very fast.
Yeah.
I move very fast. I'm very much go, 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 go.
Yeah.
And EDM is a way where it, instead of being ashamed of how strongly I'm feeling about something, or how embarrassed or how uncomfortable, I can turn into something beautiful.
Yeah.
And that's what these melodies do from certain artists is you can have these bars,
Mm-hmm.
right? Where it's like, tell me what you hate about me, and it's like, boom. But it, like, for me, it's like embracing that very, very intense emotion.
Yeah.
Like, where it's like, it's beautiful, and it encapsulates everything in this big bass effect of where it feels like you're just transporting.
Mm-hmm.
You know, like there's this song by Jai Wolf, Like It's Over, where it used to just make me cry because it talks about, it's just the beat is just so beautiful, and it would slow things down when I needed it to
Right.
slow down. And it was like, hold me like it's over,
Yeah.
keep me sober. Like,
Ooh, bar.
that bar
Bars.
just meant something to me.
Yeah. So is it fair to say like music kind of fuels like where you're trying to get to? You're like, I'm feeling this way and I'm gonna dive into it and I want to like use music to get there, or do you use it to take away from that? Like, is that how you're hearing it?
I would say music allows me to unapologetically feel what I'm feeling.
Ooh.
Being someone who just how I was raised and just how my coping mechanism is,
Yeah.
I keep more stuff in, as much as I keep a lot of stuff in internally,
Right.
especially with mental health. It allows me to shamelessly feel exactly what I'm feeling, and to not be scared of it, not run from it, not be ashamed of it, but to fall in love with it because it's
Yeah.
beautiful. It means I have emotion, I can feel.
And then you can like, do you connect with the feeling of the music too? So then
Absolutely.
it makes you feel like, oh, I'm not crazy. Like other people have felt this way before.
Yeah,
Does it give
exactly.
you comfort like that?
Yeah, and it inspires me to create music.
Yeah.
And like the song "Crazy Times" by Illenium, it's a beautiful song, but it's something that I've felt a lot of the time,
Mm-hmm.
especially when I was going through a darker time. My friend sent it to me and said, "You have to listen to this song," and I listened to it, and I was in a Memphis hotel room during an internship, and I just started crying, not because it made me sad, because it invoked ways in which I felt in a beautiful, shameless, accepting way.
Right.
And that's where a lot of the EDM community, it's accepting. It's my first rave. It's PLUR, it's peace, love, unity, rave. Like, people are in
peace, love, unity, rave.
peace, love, Unity, and I think it's like rave, and then and then you exchange Condi.
That happens? That's a real thing?
Yeah.
Really?
Yeah. I gave my ex Condi to take to a festival, and he cheated on me at that festival. But
That's
you know,
about right.
cost what it cost. But
That's a him thing. That's
right,
not on you.
Fuck him.
Dude, and that's
but-
crazy because like when I listen to EDM, like I get that same feeling when I'm at the shows, but I don't listen to it anywhere else because like I'll listen to it every now and then. Again, like when it really is matching what's going on, and pretty much it's when you and I are hanging out, because then I know like, okay, I know that EDM kind of encapsulates a lot of LJ's feelings, and so when I'm with LJ, I'm like, that's the appropriate song for the moment, and that's how I play music. And sometimes I'll go through like 2 or 3 weeks of like, I can't figure out, I get nothing I play sounds right. And after like doing this like 2 or 3 or 4 or 5 times, I recognize like anytime I'm going through that stretch where like the music just I can't find it, like nothing's right on the way to work, nothing's right on the way home from work, or when I wake up.
Get that?
It's usually a time in my life when everything's just like hitting the wall.
I understand that,
and it's going all over. So for me, like, because the way I listen to music is like, oh, what's appropriate for the time. I'm waking up, I'm ready to clean the house on a Sunday morning, nothing else going on. Like in my mind, I picture like, okay, that needle dropping onto the record player. What's the first thing that should come on? I'm like, Wu-Tang every Sunday morning. Like I'm listening to old school 90s hip hop because that makes that, to me, that's appropriate during the summertime of like, oh, we out here, like we just made it through the week. Like, it's been a little rough, but here we are. It's Sunday. We about to do our thing, bool about, do whatever we're doing. But then in the wintertime, I'll wake up and it's like, 4:30, 5 in the morning. That snow's falling and that darkness is creeping in. And I'm like, all right, well, what's the most appropriate for this? I'll put on some Frank Sinatra. I'll put on some, that's when maybe I'll put on some Russ, like, because Russ is,
I know I'm fine.
Very slow.
Like, the money makes me handsome.
But like, I don't listen to that Russ. Like, like you like that pretty boy kind of feeling from Russ. I don't. I like the
losing control.
Yeah. I wanna go. Down. And that's so I'm like, that's appropriate for the moment. And that's when I realized like, oh, if I can't find the music, I should probably like not play any music, and I should ride in silence to work to figure out like what's going on in your head. Are you stressed? Are you anxious? Are you feeling like you wish you were further ahead, further behind? And then when I start to figure out like, oh, that's what's going on in my world, then I'll be able to pick the music that wraps and ties all that in together. And to hear you like sit with that emotion, I feel like a lot of people connect to that more. But I was thinking all week, I was like, what is the difference? And that's what it is. You're feeling the music, and I'm hearing it narrate my life, as opposed to the other way around. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
Cool.
That was awesome.
Right on time.